today I want to tackle something I've been putting off for a few weeks now, which is this absolute giant wall I have in the back of my world. This is basically the last section of my world I have to do before it is considered finished. Obviously on this side I have all the terrain I've built up with the custom trees, village, farmland. Everything over here is custom, and then on the other side of the wall is going to be the default Minecraft terrain. So I want to build this to kind of separate these two worlds so that while you're walking around the paths or through these houses, whatever it may be, you can't see outside into the default Minecraft terrain. All you're going to be able to see is the custom cliffs I built or the custom trees. And I've managed to have that be the case everywhere else in the world except for this final little corner. So today I want to tackle that. I've been putting it off because I don't really want to do it, but I'm going to do it today regardless. On the right here, I have this kind of incline with some custom trees and then cliffs for like the first 5 or 6 blocks. And then I had to somehow kind of blend this style into what I have on the other side here, which is these really tall cliffs. There's Gothic Castle over here, but these tall cliffs kind of merge into a mountain, and I'm going to need to make this come down and then transition into more of the kind of trees I have over here, more foresty, less mountainy. So that's going to happen somewhere in between here, and then I kind of outline this one little area here where I thought I'd have a bit of a river coming down. Something else I have to do is the river here. I have the lake kind of portion over here finished, and I have the river on the other side finished, so I kind of just need to connect the two, take out this big massive land here, drop everything down by a few blocks, and make it muddy on the bottom so that it looks more visually appealing. There's still a little bit of detailing to do in this last area of my world, some paths to finish, a building here or there. I want to put in a couple more geysers, so I might do some of that as little breaks, but the main thing today is this giant wall. So I'm going to start on that, and I'll talk to you when I have a little bit of progress done. Alright, just wanted to have a little midpoint check-in here. Got a lot of work done so far. Currently just doing this last little ice sort of glacier part of the thing. And then I'll have a creek over here, and then of course the rest of the river from basically that point running all the way until this lake has to be done. So there's still a lot of work to do, and then of course I have to actually add detail everywhere, lots of trees, make the forest floor this nice dirt texture, add lots of kind of greenery, bushes, firefly bushes, short grass, that sort of thing across the majority of this landscape, not necessarily the cliffs as much. But once that's done, I think it'll look pretty good. I mean, just taking a little vantage point from the village I have here, I think it will look a lot better, the village that is, with something in the background. And I was looking at the Gothic castle I have here from right around here, and already it looks a lot better at this cliff on the right, so that helps too. Definitely pretty labor intensive, not super enjoyable building it, but at the end of the day it will make everything else in my world look better, even if it itself is not necessarily like a centerpiece. So I'm gonna keep working on it, and eventually I'll get to the point where I get to start detailing with trees, and that'll be like 20% more enjoyable. But right now I've got to go through the hard part. The wall, as I've been calling it, is now done. It took a lot of effort for sure. Wasn't super enjoyable to build, but I think it turned out pretty alright. There's not a ton of detail in here. This creek is pretty nice, but the rest of it is kind of all samey if you were to walk through here. But this thing's purpose is just to look nice in the background from these paths and these villages and stuff, and I think it does that job well. There's definitely more detail in these forests, or I guess same forest, but this part of the forest where there's paths through it. But that would have been a lot of work to have that detail in here for not very much reward. I think the transition between like the more mountainous and the more foresty turned out fairly well. Kind of did this interesting thing here, having different levels of cliffs and then these sections of grass kind of sliding down a little bit, which I thought was kind of a cool transition. And then an idea came up with towards the end was to have water falls looking like coming out from underneath the glacier. I've seen this in real life where there's water underneath ice in like frozen creeks and stuff. So I thought it'd be cool to try and make it look like this was the start of spring and there's some thawing happening. Especially because beforehand this was a big gray kind of blob. I think having just a little bit of blue helped make it a little bit more interesting. Similar sort of idea with adding patches of snow. Yeah, on the whole, I think this village and other parts of my world definitely look better now that there's something more concrete in the background. I think the other one I was looking at earlier was the Gothic castle. I haven't actually looked at this yet, so we'll see if it's any good. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like the waterfalls, they help too. Definitely better than having nothing there on the right, which was like that for the better part of a year. So definitely looks better now. And I didn't show it, but I did the river floor here throughout the whole thing. When you're up high like this, it looks a little bit odd, I guess. But when you're on the dock or something, it looks much more natural. And then like I usually do in the rivers in this world, I went through and kind of added these little patches of greenery on the sides. There's some reeds in here, lily pads, that sort of thing. And yeah, it usually looks pretty good. So kind of continue that theme. I'd done that previously. But on the whole, pretty happy with it. Definitely a lot of work, not super enjoyable to build, but it was kind of the main big thing I had to do to get towards ending off this world. There's a little bit of wool here that I'll probably tackle in the next few videos. I think the next one's going to be a greenhouse over in this area. But it's definitely coming together, and the remaining parts should be much more enjoyable to build, and I'm looking forward to doing that. But yeah, definitely looks pretty good. So hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you liked. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.